East Asia community. By the way, I'm Jong Juyeon, professor in political science at Korea University. Very nice to see you. I've already met some of you. And I am kind of the head of the advisory committee thing for the EPIK. So I'm quite interested in this conference and also very proud of you at the same time. For this session, I will first set the rule. I think the presenters will present for about 15 minutes each, 20 minutes maximum, if necessary 20 minutes. And then I will provide some comments. And I do that because one of the major purposes of this conference is receiving comments from the scholars, professors. So I think that's an important part. And then I will open it up to the floor so you can ask questions and we will answer the questions. And depending on how much time we have, they might take a couple of questions at a time and answer all at the same time. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so first of all, Im Myung at Korea University, could you introduce yourself briefly? And then you can start your presentation now. Yeah.
Good afternoon, I'm Myung Lim. I go to Korea University and I majored in political science and international relations. And now I'm in the 4th grade, final year of the university. Today I will give, the subject of my research paper is about civil society participation influencing in making regional governances in East Asia. Before I start, I'd like to thank EAI for making this precious opportunity to develop my ideas and present it in front of all the people and great students and professors. The subject of my paper is civil society participation in regional governances in East Asia by assessing their institutions. In this paper, I focused on the participation of civil society contributing to creating good governance process. First, I'd like to start with the key idea of this paper. In my paper, it is argued that civil society participation encourages good governance, and especially I'd like to see how this works in the East Asian governances. And to do this, I will first explain transnationalism, which is the background theory of this paper. But of course, the previous theory is not the whole story. I'd like to extend a little bit of transnationalism to properly apply it to my research. And second, I will explain global governance, the concept and the condition to achieve good governance, and see how civil society can contribute to create good governance. And third would be empirical study of the East Asian governances. I will choose 3 main governances and study the structure of the institutions. I will examine to what extent the civil society is involved in the governance process. And the background of my research. Since 1990s, the activity of NGO has grown dramatically in the international society. It started to influence to make global regime in many different areas, especially such as environment and human rights. And there's a graph that shows the dramatic growth of NGOs. Today, many NGOs can bring their agenda and voices to the UN Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC. They are given consultative status with ECOSOC. As it shows, The number of NGO in consultative status with ECOSOC has grown 0 in 1945 to nearly 3,500 in 2009. And also in East Asia, NGO activities have grown significantly. Not only NGOs, but also the transnational networks of NGOs. In East Asia, vigorous activity of NGOs are found, especially in the areas of such as environmental issues and human rights. Transnational NGO activities are cooperating to deal with the problems of the, for example, yellow dust or protection of atmosphere in East Asia. And the other famous one is about the historical human rights problem regarding with Japan's military sexual slavery. And the last picture shows the NGOs protesting against it.
Hello everyone, my name is Yoon-Sub Chung. I go to Princeton University and enrolled at the Woodrow Wilson School, and I am a rising junior. So my topic today, before I begin though, I should thank EAI, and rarely does one get the opportunity to present one's work in front of this community of scholars, students, aspiring scholars, and all the other students of political science. And so now on to my presentation. It's titled Environmental Cooperation in Northeast Asia. And more specifically, I want to look into the possibility and the direction that environmental cooperation should take. And so I had this kind of personal interest in these issues and looked at the current research, which I found to primarily focus on the possibilities for and limitations of cooperation. And they offered several explanations: domestic politics, regional culture, lack of international regimes that the regional regime can fall under, and so on. But first of all, these factors are really difficult to change. And although these factors are really important in understanding the situation, from a public policy perspective, it might not offer more practical solutions. So another question that can be asked is, what should be done to make the current regimes more effective in facilitating cooperation in Northeast Asia? And here, by Northeast Asia, I mean China, Japan, and Korea. And I guess to qualify this decision to restrict the region, those three countries are relatively more comparable in terms of the politics, economy, and the state of development compared to other states in East Asia, for example, like Vietnam, Indonesia. And also, there are other actors in the region, such as Russia and Mongolia, and they are involved in some of the regimes. But for our purposes, I found that these three countries share a lot of regional environmental problems, such as dust sandstorms, acid deposition, and found that these three countries should be the focus of this research. And this question has been asked, but I also found that previous efforts have been trying to compare the experience of EU to Northeast Asia. And I think it's helpful, but not thoroughly, because in order to answer this question, we have to examine first what regimes actually exist and what qualities they possess. So the agenda is here, the overview of the current regimes and examination of what their shortcomings are, and I conclude with ways to address these shortcomings. So a brief definition first. I refer to a regime complex which is defined as a loosely coupled set of specific regimes. In other words, there is no comprehensive regime that focuses on one specific issue. Instead, there are different regimes that may or may not focus on the issue, but still deal with those issues, maybe collaboration-wise, but also individually. And this complex is politically more feasible than a comprehensive regime. And also when uncertainty is high, as is the case with environmental issues, this kind of complex provides more flexibility than a comprehensive regime.